So we've had a setback during the neutralization process. This is incredibly disheartening. I'm not sure what went wrong, but let me come show you. You know, as I do, I'm going to show you the failures, and maybe we can get this fixed somehow before we continue. It appears there was an issue neutralizing the acid. I don't know if my ammonia was too weak, but if you look at some of these marks, they're quite ugly. These are little crazing crack areas, and apparently the water and ammonia puddled. And the ammonia neutralized the middle, but that outer perimeter kept burning. And so it's got all these little turd shapes in here. It's quite ugly. Those are still wet. They're still not dry. So, I don't know, I'm really unhappy with how those look. They look like dirty old oil stains or something. It's supposed to be like a soft marbly look like this. This is amazing. When this is wet, this looks awesome, but we're gonna have to do something about this. That's definitely ugly. That looks like a dirty old oil stained floor. That's not okay. I've taken some time here to rationalize the problem, do a little bit of research. There are a couple things you could do when you make a mistake with acid stain. So, solution number one is to rent equipment, grind down this floor, flatten it out, get all that dyed stain out, and start over. I'm not gonna do that. It's a pretty small mistake. Option number two is to continue with more acid stain in an attempt to camouflage the mistake areas. I have picked up a second color. I'm going with mahogany. Mahogany mixes really well with walnut, and there are two ways you can do multicolored staining. You can do it all together, wet on wet application, which gives you a very naturally shifting marbly look. Or if you want some sharper edges, which is also cool looking, you can do wet on dry. That's what this is gonna be. That floor is completely dry. The first coat is completely done and neutralized. So I'm gonna take mahogany and I'm gonna apply it in a random little pattern to try to marbleize, bring out some more color and contrast to camouflage those little dark puddle marks. I took this acid, and there's some parts where it pools, some parts where it's thinner. Those should give you variations in color. But overall, I feel like this should make a pretty cool marble effect, and it should camouflage a lot of that dark puddling mistake here. My timer just went off. This stain went down full strength for 4 hours. And I think I'm pretty happy with it, that it's nice and dark, and it absolutely burned away those black marks, those puddle marks that were just so ugly, and I think this is gonna end up being really cool. With this color being exactly where I want it, no water, no mess, no puddles, none of that nonsense. Now I'm going to take my pump sprayer with ammonia. I am not gonna put it through with all that water in the pressure washer. I'm gonna do it the way everyone else does, and I'm gonna do 50-50 water and ammonia and neutralize all of this acid. Okay, this has been neutralized. I scrubbed every inch of this in, and I will make a note here for those of you doing this project. When you apply the ammonia, whatever concentration you use, you should absolutely see that stain change color when you hit it with ammonia. So I did notice that first time with the pressure washer and the ammonia, I still had yellow. I still had that original sprayed down color, and I think that's why this acid kept burning. I just didn't neutralize it. The ammonia was too weak, it was diluted too much. I put 50-50 down with a pump sprayer. Oh, and this just turned bright turquoise as soon as the ammonia hit it. Scrubbed it all in, and I'm noticing some of that green come back to the surface, and I'm gonna hit that with more ammonia and keep scrubbing. I just wanna make sure it's completely neutralized because this is looking pretty awesome. Once your ammonia neutralizing mixture has been on there for a while, I'd say 10 to 30 minutes, there's no real definitive answer. I've looked all over the internet, and apparently the reaction happens very quickly. It's time for step 5, rinsing and drying. Everything has been rinsed one final time with the pressure washer, and it just blasted everything off, all the residue, all the ammonia, everything that was left. And this is what we have. This is mahogany pulled up and done wet on dry over walnut. Okay, we are one step closer. This just has to dry off completely bone dry, and we will roll on the top coat, and that is going to be an acrylic sealer. On a small informational note here, when I finished the inside with the acid, it was mahogany, my second color. I had a little bit left in the bottom of the sprayer. I was going to dump it out. And Dad said, well, take it out back, take it to the man door pad. And that was black. The walnut went on heavy, and it burned, and it stayed on, it didn't neutralize, and it was my test zone, and it just turned black, the whole thing. When it was wet, it was pitch black. It looked like a tire. There was nothing. And I said, no, it's not gonna work. Once it's that dark, once it's expended, there's no more lime, you're done. And that's absolutely not true. Don't give up on concrete that you think has been overstained. This absolutely lightened up and turned a beautiful red, rust, and gray. There's all this variegation. This here is what's left of the black and there, but this turned out absolutely amazing. You'll see once it is sealed with acrylic. This is my favorite part of the whole thing, and I was ready to just give up. I was resolved to it just being black. So just take that for what it's worth. Don't give up on concrete. If you think you've overstained it, you might still be able to put color down and actually burn it a different color and even lighten it. It has been several days now, and the entire concrete floor is completely bone dry. Now I'm gonna do a quick pass over the whole floor with the shop vac to get any debris that blew in here while the door was open and this was drying. So this is Super Seal 2000. It's made by Concrete Coatings, just like everything else I've used here. This is going to be applied with one of these super poofy rollers. These are the ones that are meant for rough surfaces. If you have perfectly smooth concrete, you can use one of the less poofy ones. Wow, that's even darker than when it's just wet with water. It is a brand new day. That is because this half soaked up both gallons of acrylic that I bought. And that's because on Amazon, I saw a lot of reviews. People were like, my 800-foot garage, I did 2 gallons. Maybe if it's perfect, smooth, beautiful, solid concrete. Mine is fresh, it is very porous, it's also brush finished. So it took 2 gallons to do 1 coat on half of the garage. I have ordered 6 more gallons. There's quite a delay because the COVID-19 crisis is in full sway right now, and that's bringing this project to a screeching halt. But we're still trying here, we're still getting stuff, so I'm gonna time lapse some more. We're gonna get some more acrylic down. Let me just make a couple notes for everyone that's going to be doing this with acrylic. Once your second and possibly third coats are down, it starts to even out. This is what you've got, and I have to say that looks really cool. That looks beautiful. It's like marble. This over here is the first coat. You're gonna get lots of weird, funky, dry spots like that. Don't panic, don't put more down. That's just what's drying already. So this is a very thin coat. You really go over it multiple times, get it nice and even, and so you're gonna have a very thin coat, and these are just the dry spots. That's where it's drying. It'll get a little chalky, but when you go over it again, trust me, it'll glossify it right up. This is long overdue. This entire process has taken 2 episodes that are fairly lengthy to begin with, but I wanted to have all the details for this project, for this concrete floor. It's finally done. I am really happy with it. There's 3 coats down. I left a whole day between coats to dry, and now I've waited 7 whole days for complete hardness as per the instructions. Thanks for hanging out with me. Take a look at the after shot here, and I'll see you next time.